Hey guys, welcome to AnimeInkArt Live Talks. For those that may not know what this show is about, welcome to our show where we talk with different creators in the community about their journey in content creation and how we can support each other better in the community. So I hope you guys had a good week so far. I know we were just here, not too long ago on Sunday. So definitely let's get people in here. Let's get it started. We always just like to share on our Instagram, like our Discords and everything. So people can, see the show and get excited about it. So definitely, it's going to be an amazing show. We're going to introduce our lovely guests in just 1 second. Let's see if we can get a few more people in here. Okay. So today we have very special guests, Geisha Fitness. They're an amazing, they're a certified trainer, they're a nutritionist, and they help nerdy, cosplayers, blur creators that are over 30 to, be the main character, to level up over 9,000. And as well as they've done so many things, they've been a professional bodybuilder, they're a performer, they've done, burlesque. They're all around an amazing person and creator. So definitely let's get them on the show and let's get it started. Hi.
Hi.
How are you today?
Doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay. Can't complain.
Good.
How was your Friday?
Friday's been great. I got my groceries, and me and my kid got our groceries for the week. My kid doesn't really meal prep like I do, but got out of the way. And our the weather here, because we're in Texas, especially Houston, so
Mm,
it doesn't quite know exactly what it wants to be right now because it was sunny earlier, and then
yeah.
it started like raining down, pouring, then lightning up, and now it's still kind of gray and dark outside, but it's still hot and bright. So it doesn't know what it wants to be.
No, yeah, I can definitely understand. And definitely I just want to thank you again for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it.
Anytime, anytime.
So for those that may not know who you are, introduce yourself and what you do.
Okay. So my business is Geisha Fitness. And sometimes I alternate between like my name, Melanie Jackson, or like my alter ego, which is Senpai. And so that is, me helping 30 plus cosplayers level up from being an NPC to being a main character. And that applies to everything that has to do with their overall health and fitness.
That's amazing. And for those that don't know, like your journey in fitness, because when I was looking, it went from like you just wanted to change, to level up your own self, and then you went into the bodybuilding. You lost the weight, went into bodybuilding, and then it was history from there. So for those that don't know your story of why you got into fitness, definitely share that now.
So I started off as a paralegal. So I have a legal background. The last law firm I worked at, they offered training to us 2 times out of the week
Hmm.
for free. They were like paying it forward because like the wife has multiple sclerosis or MS. And since they got the benefits, they of course paid it forward. And I'm like, why isn't everybody doing this? But me, it was not a problem for me to be active, but I wasn't
Hmm.
paying attention to the fact that I had gained weight over the years from college and
Hmm.
having a kid
Hmm.
and getting comfortable, might as well say, when I got married. So it's like I'm putting on all this weight because I wasn't active like I was in high school.
Hmm.
And so I got back into it by going to these classes that were happening for free. And in addition to that, I started looking at the food. And this was before the time that social media really blew up and you have
Yeah.
information that we do now.
Hmm.
So I was able to utilize the internet to, um, you know, eat more protein, drink more water, and stuff like that. And I started, being, I guess, not more strict with my food. I wouldn't say that, but I started just paying attention to what I was eating. Like I always used to think like what some people will think about certain myths when it comes to food, like oh, let me look at these protein shakes. I used to think that they were all masking, like I would gain weight, which I didn't
Yeah.
know. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try this. If I gain a single pound, I'm not dealing with this anymore. And then it's like, so I started putting that into simple like that. I started putting in more in my diet, and I started losing the weight. And I'm like, Oh, okay. How this works. So I'm doing these classes in conjunction with, doing stuff like drinking more water, eating more protein, and just staying active. And before you knew it, within a year, I had lost like 75. And now when I think about it, I think it was 80 pounds that I had lost. And I was still intending to stay at the law firm. I was going to intend to go to law school. And I still got my certification. Um, in training because I was just going to train people on the side, but not make it a full time thing. Um, and unfortunately, the husband, because it was a husband and wife team that ran the firm, the husband passed away,
Mm.
and that led to layoffs. And despite the fact that I was a great worker, I was not someone that kissed people's butts or catered to their egos. So it
Mhm.
didn't matter how great of a worker I was definitely one of the people that I knew I was going to get let go. And what I did is, until another law firm picked me up, I decided since I had my certification, I was going to go train um, at a gym until another firm picked me up.
Mm.
But long story short, the firm never picked me up. They never hired me, and I ended up falling in love with training at the same time. So
Mm.
I haven't really gone back into the legal field.
Mm.
And around that time, I had actually started prepping and training for my first bodybuilding competition. And the person that trained me was also pretty much ended up being my coworker.
Mm.
Um, and so I did my first competition, I believe, in like April or May of 2018.
Mhm.
And from then on, in less than 6 months of me competing, I got my pro card in bodybuilding. Um,
Mm.
and I mean, really, the training for me was I wanted people to experience what I experienced because it's so much more than just weight loss.
Yeah.
Like, I did unfortunately notice that people do treat you differently when
Mhm.
you're skinnier or when you look a certain way.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate people treat you differently that way. Um, but there were other things that I noticed that came with it. I was mentally more clear, so I felt like I was much more. I was like I was good at my job, but it hit another level once my food and me being active, really helped with me being able to mentally do my job really fast, or much more efficient than before. Um, it helped me handle stress very well. I was married at the time that I lost weight, and unfortunately, I didn't have a spouse that was too supportive of my weight loss and journey and such.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, at the same time, he relapsed, and I didn't.
Oh.
I didn't know he had an issue with drugs to begin with. He withheld all
Oh.
for me,
Yeah.
but and it was methamphetamine. So if anybody's
Mm.
drugs,
Mhm.
it's a really, really, really bad drug to be on. So, being with someone that is like that, and or if you just know anybody that has been on that or know of it, it's obviously not an easy thing to live with. And I can be very blunt in how I say certain things, regardless of whether I was a trainer or not. But I firmly believe that if I had not had the lifestyle change, I think with me interacting with him before we split up, it could have led to me. I'm like, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I probably could have caught a case. So I do credit that my change in lifestyle with helping me better handle stress from someone that was a former loved one. So I do credit it with that as well. So um, with the bodybuilding, I didn't stay in it too long because I am a part of the queer community, and um, what I'm kind of seeing now is there's this backlash against a
Mm.
lot of fitness influencers because they're more conservative and MAGA, and I'm just kind of like,
Mm.
I thought y'all already knew that, but it's like, wait a second. I've been in this for a long time, so I kind of knew that most of them are very conservative leaning. So that's
Mm.
why it's not shocking to me. So they didn't directly say it to my face, but there were a lot of things that they said or done like passive aggressive and microaggression things that they say and they do that indicated to me that they were not accepting of that community.
Mhm.
And considering the fact that I've struggled my entire life trying to find that group of people that are accepting and are welcoming, the queer community was a lot more accepting for me at the time versus the bodybuilding community.
Mm.
So I did not stay in bodybuilding that long. It was very easy for me to step away. And even though I had been performing professionally here and there, prior to that, it kind of picked back up again when I started um, performing in that community. It wasn't just drag; it was burlesque, and then I eventually got back into singing because the spouse that I mentioned, we had a band where we were going to a lot of anime and comic book conventions, and I sang mainly anime songs, so it was mainly in Japanese that we were singing a lot of these songs and stuff like that. So I got more back into the performing side. When COVID hit, I was a part of a company called, like, it's on my head, Dance CG or Camp Gladiator.
Mhm.
And they pivoted very quickly during COVID, and that means they started doing Zoom online group training sessions. And so that was my first foray into the online space. And these people that had already known me from the queer community that had wanted to train with me and never
Mhm.
really said anything is
Mm.
like, oh, now they have this opportunity to train with me. And even though we're not physically close or within the same vicinity. And eventually once, I want to say around the end of 2021 is when I got with some mentors on working on growing my online business. And that's when I started to step into um, going into just online territory. And I did evolve my niche to be more specific and to cater more towards cosplayers because as much as I like the queer community and stuff and everything, it was still like very broad. And when I was
Mm.
trying to cater, it still felt like I was being tugged into two things because I'm like, well, not every queer person is a nerd
Mhm.
either. So I'm just like, okay, well, which one do I still resonate with the most, honestly? And it was just honest. It was still very it was much more easier for me to identify more with cosplayers and
Mhm.
that world versus the queer community. And it's like not no shade to them or whatsoever, but it just seemed more easy. It was easier for me to talk in that language where like you get the term over 9,000, like you get certain terms that are used there versus, or at least for me, versus the queer community. And so I've been focusing more on cosplayers, because I mean, and I did 30 plus mainly because when you get to your 30s, it's a lot different than your 20s.
Mhm.
Your priorities are also different. And sometimes, from what I've seen, a lot of people have existential crises earlier in their
Yes.
20s, like they should, I feel.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's like, well, what should I mean? Like, what am I doing with my life, type of deal? And it's like, should I even be doing cosplaying? Is it for me? And some people think because they get injured that they should just stop what they're doing. People think that because I still get it all the time, and it's a fact that looks are still is still a thing. I mean, it's cosplay, and we're attempting to look like characters that don't physically exist. So it's a head job, and I get it, but at the same time, I try to balance that with regardless of whether you look like this person or not, which you shouldn't expect that from yourself, that um, really also look at, are you well? I mean, it makes no sense for me, like with my kid or my kid's generation, Gen Z, it makes no sense that I'm a person that's 40 that can do squats and lunges, that I can do a ton of push ups, or that I can beat you guys in a sprinting race when y'all are younger than me. that should not be a thing. That should not be an issue. But at the same time, for people that are my age or people that are in, that age range, you kind of want to be able, you still want to be able to kick butt, or you're still capable of doing it at the same time. And, you know, don't limit yourself just because of these outside factors. Your favorite characters don't do it. Like, you see the struggle, but at the same time you see them triumph. And I want uh I want 30 plus cosplayers to know that they can actually do the real thing. That too. It's realistic to believe that you can triumph.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. And I think what I love so much is that you get to share your love of all things nerdy. You cosplay as well. You've been able to mix that with fitness as well. It's very cool. And I wanted to ask what inspired you to start cosplaying, and how has it been being able to like incorporate that in your fitness journey? And I wanted to specifically ask about when you did Kamapalooza. You had a cosplay fitness panel back in like
Oh
2024,
yeah.
and how that experience was. So first, how long have you been cosplaying, and what inspired you to start cosplaying?
So the cosplay came late, actually.
Mm.
The cosplay came like when I started going back into the cons. When me and my ex split, I unintentionally stopped going to the conventions.
Mm.
And I have no idea why. I knew it was unintentional. And I'm just like, why did I stop?
Yeah.
There was no reason for me to stop going. And it wasn't like there was a spirit of like, oh, well, I run into him again. It definitely wasn't that. It was just, I don't know why. And when I got back into it, and especially once I had a clear idea of who the group of people that I wanted to serve, it's just like, um, it's really hard for me to pinpoint it. I think I did run into some pictures online where I saw people doing closet cosplay.
Hmm.
So of course, it's these characters where it's like it's not exactly what they're wearing, but the color palette is identical to theirs, and it's normal clothes. And my idea was, since I'm working out all the time, like I mean, I was struggling trying to find something for my kids' high school graduation because it's like, I don't have regular civilian clothes. I just have workout clothes. So, for the cosplay, I'm like, well, can it be functional cosplay? Because
Mm.
I love minimalism. I fell in love with minimalism during the pandemic, and it's just like, okay, what's something that I could possibly be wearing every single freaking day, but it's also workout clothes. And so, what I started doing was looking at cosplay that I know my generation will understand and get right off the bat.
Yeah.
So Velma was
Mm.
one of the first outfits that I did. It was very simple and is very easy to find, and I used Amazon. It was the onesie that I had, an orange one, workout shorts. I prefer shorts over leggings any day. It's just my style. And, it wasn't hard to get a magnifying glass, or, the square rimmed glasses, and, the orange knee high socks. And, there you go. And I'm like, okay, that's Velma. And I started thinking more about, like, okay, what are some other characters that I can do, once again, that fit the criteria of something that's very simple, but I can also work out in. And so that's when you get Mario and
Mm.
Luigi. And to a lesser extent, I do have a Luffy outfit. I just don't really wear, and then I'm not going to lie, it's mainly because I've never touched One Piece,
Yeah.
but I
Mm.
do have Luffy because there are some things that I have noticed, and I'm familiar still enough with the anime to know. I'm like, oh, flexibility. That's something that, it's not something that you see on social media that's sexy, but it's something that we as humans should focus on, um, and everything. When it came to Comic Palooza, I was doing double duty that year. I was performing. I was going back to, it would just be myself. When I was performing, I was kind of doing the administrative side for the entire band. but it's so much easier when it's just me. So
Yeah.
I was performing, but I also decided to do a cosplay fitness panel. It wasn't, I think, because it was still they were still going by COVID rules.
Mhm.
There were they were limited on where they could be
Mm.
because I thought we would be placed in a typical panel room where everything's closed off, but I was on the first floor, next to the vendors room and stuff like that. And I think it was because the COVID rules were still in play. I don't think they had full access to the George R. Brown Convention Center like they used to at the time. So I thought I was actually hoping for it to be more interactive. Like I was hoping people would be coming in their cosplays ready
Mm.
to do a workout because I have an extensive background in group training. So if somebody can't do this, I can make modifications for them. But at the same time, get them, um, thinking about, oh, this is something that I can do as far as movement because I noticed a lot of people, they're not like me. They were not active in school, or they were active and then they stopped for some reason. So they're starting all over again. And that's very scary for a lot of people. And so with them, the idea was if they're coming in their cosplay to get fit, you're already in the character, hopefully, that you're wanting to be in. And so now let's get you thinking like the character yourself. What would the character be doing so that they can get into, you know, the shape or the physique or the stamina or the endurance that you want. So that was the idea. But since it wasn't set up that way to be really interactive like I thought it
Mm.
was, I was able to, I don't know, I think I did a presentation somewhere else. So I was able to have my information with me and do like a PowerPoint on the fly. um, so I ended up doing that and just showing like basic exercises that as humans we should all be doing. And that was it. And I think that's probably why I did it just that 1 year.
Mm.
And I need to, like now that the COVID rules have been relaxed or removed and they do have access to the entire convention center. Now, I mean, next time I can actually entertain, hey, let's like make it interactive and stuff like that the next time. And I can be put in the right place so that people can feel free to come work out and stuff like that. Because I know they have like I know some people that do cosplay Zumba.
Mhm.
I mean, one thing that I've seen, I never participated at the panels, which I should have. I
Mhm.
know that they've been having something called cosplay chess for a long time.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, interactive ones like that. It's just, I really honestly don't see a lot of cosplay fitness in that space.
Mhm.
I should go back into that now that the rules are just relaxed overall.
No, yeah, it'll definitely be fun, and I feel like there's been a few cons that had a few like fitness classes or dance classes. I think yours would be perfect for that.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
so now people are now coming around to it, like they're doing it a little bit more. So
good.
yeah. And also, I wanted to ask about, your fitness programs that you started, especially for, 30 plus cosplayers. Teach them how to level up and get main character energy. So I wanted to talk about like when you first decided to create these programs and how has it been since then, and as well as what has the impact that you felt like doing these programs, because I know you have the most recent one, the final boss physique that you released last year. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, at the end of last year, it was like, the program for this year is the final boss physique.
mhm.
And so with that, I started implementing these, just to make people feel more comfortable. Oh, it's not uncomfortable. To make people feel more comfortable, not uncomfortable. Because it's just me hearing what I hear about some of the influencers that they just take money and they go ghost.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of whatever needs to be said and done for people to know that I'm a real person.
Mhm.
And I go from the phone calls to Zoom calls.
Mm.
And that's for anything. It's not just for people that are thinking about training and curious about training. for one of my programs. But it's also for if it's a program where, like, if any of my clients are hitting a rough patch and they're thinking about pausing or something like that, I'm like, I try to get them on a face to face call so that, how do I say it? I have no poker face whatsoever unless I'm playing poker. So, you get to see me make all types of faces depending on what, okay? you know, because I will say when it comes to social media, interacting on social media, I do get, you get that luxury of if someone says something that's rage baity,
Hmm.
texting very misconstrued, it's just kind of
Hmm.
like,
You're like, huh?
or I'll just make a face, and it's just like sometimes I'll respond, sometimes I won't. Most of the time I won't. I'll just keep it,
Yeah.
but if it's like that actual interactive call like this, it's like you'll see like the faces, and it's just like, oh, okay, like what does that mean? But it's like, you get more of me since we can't physically interact. You'll get more of me. um for So that has been something that has been added to my program. Whether my clients decide that they want to continue, regardless of whether I think they should continue or not, it will be a send off call that we're going to be doing, just to either they're planning on continuing, or if they're planning on ending it, it's still going to be that call. So that's something that's been added. Um, what I'm actually thinking about doing is one thing that is not really looked at or talked about, I will say, for my competitors, for lack of a better term, is accountability.
Mm.
Like, I mean, it's so easy when you don't have an accountability buddy that's there to make sure that you're going to be meeting them at the gym. It's very easy to just lay in bed and just say, forget it, I'm not going, or I'm not doing this, or I'm not prepping food and stuff like that. So I usually, just to make sure it doesn't get too stale, like what I would do is I would send out an accountability
Mm.
every single week. I review it, or I try to review it as quickly as possible, especially before the weekend, because sometimes stuff comes up and I will not be able to be reached.
Yeah.
Um, but we go over it because I'm looking at what your stress levels are and stuff. But instead of doing that every week, unless, you know, they may need something extra, I'm thinking about actually cutting it down to every other week,
Okay.
um, just to not make it seem redundant, because they are a lot of similar questions, but they're questions that need to be asked all the time.
Yeah.
How's your stress? How's your sleep? How much water are you getting on the average? Have you been able to stay with the meal plan for yourself,
Hmm.
for these past 2 weeks?
Hmm.
Because if it's off, if it's low, and also you're not seeing a change that you like, then we need to talk. We need to see if something needs to be changed, and everything. So those are the two main parts that have been changed, because as far as workouts are concerned, of
Yeah.
course, everybody's body is different. People have had different injuries. Some people want a workout that's gym or at home, or sometimes both, depending on their schedule. Um,
Hmm.
and their nutrition plans are automatically going to be different as well. So those things haven't changed because it's always been different for every single person. But the accountability and adding the video calls, and doing what is necessary when it comes to those, that's what has been added when it comes to my programs. I try not to have a whole bunch of programs either. It's when people are given too much of a choice, they get
Hmm.
fatigued, or they become indecisive and don't want to do anything. So I only have programs for, the whole thing: nutrition, workouts, accountability, in 4, 6, or 12 months.
Hmm.
And then, since nutrition is going to be 80%, and I noticed that a lot of people are not willing to talk about that. And it's like, you can't out train a poor diet. And even for the people that are like, I'm working out so that I can eat Oreos. And I'm like, I work good. I get it. love Oreos, but at the same time, I have Oreos every once in a while because gone are the days where I could just eat a pack of Oreos and my body
Yeah,
won't be bothered.
exactly.
Okay.
So,
I know I used to do that. I will cop to that, but my body does not do that anymore. It doesn't have the high metabolism. Um, but I there's nothing wrong with it. I also want to have my clients thinking about, well, I get it. You want to work out so you can eat the Oreos.
yeah.
Let's try to look at another goal as well. Like,
Mhm.
are you intending to breed? I mean, everybody is maximum control in this economy. If you're crazy enough to do that, that's perfectly fine. But if you want to breed, you want to have kids. Definitely, you want your health there so that you're able to keep up with them and play with them and all this other stuff. You know, are you crazy like me, where you're training for a triathlon
Yeah.
or something like that? What other stuff do you want to do, and not be so limited to your phone. And I know I do online stuff, but it's like,
Mhm.
not be so limited to your phone because there is a big world out there. What do you want to do that has nothing involved with you sitting in front of a screen, and actually getting out there, or keeping you from going to that con? Because I know a lot of people, they they don't say it, but I can see it at cons because I'm that type of person. Like, you have road rage,
Mm.
but I'll have rage when I'm at a con because people are walking so fucking slow. But it took a while for me to figure out some of them are probably in pain
Mm. Yeah.
because we all know walking in a con is it's walking at a con.
Mhm.
It may
Mhm.
not be a problem or labor for me,
Yeah.
but it's a problem and sometimes painful for a lot of people that are going to these cons, and they can't fully enjoy it because they have health problems or because they're really overweight, but they're not trying to show it. So I always try to get them to think, okay, well, besides that, what else do you want to do? So it's the full package programs, and then if it's just nutrition only that you need help with, then I have nutrition programs only, which is 4, 6, and 12 months. Um, I don't do workouts because, once again, not everybody's body is the same, and if I were to ever do workouts, they would be boring ass workouts. We're focusing on stability and flexibility, the stuff that, once again, I'm not seeing a lot of influencers talk about because it's not sexy. And I'm like, I get that, but at the same time, someone's gonna hurt themselves. And I'm like, I ain't doing that.
No, yeah, I think you've done the right approach because I've seen the results and I've seen like how happy the customers are. So I think your approach is good because you focus on the diet, you focus on their individual,
Yeah.
needs, and that's what I like. You're literally their accountability partner because I've seen how certain clients have like certain conditions too, and you cater towards that, whether it be the diet, whether it be the exercise, and like you said, some people due to injuries or whatever the case may be, like you said, that's why you don't do like one workout fits all because it's not gonna fit every.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really no, I do commend you for that. I do commend the good work that you've done. So I just wanted to say that first before I say ask any more questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And also, I just wanted to like talk about your performing a little bit for those that may not know about it because you're so talented and you've done so many things. I wanted to ask before you really transitioned into you do a lot of fitness now, but that's
Hmm.
still you still do it from time to time. The
Yeah.
singing and stuff like that. What
Hmm.
got you into performing in general for people that may not know? Because you've done multiple things, not just the one thing.
I really don't know how. I really don't know how, because I went to a private school all my life,
Yeah.
and of course, for people that are, people of color, a lot more
Yeah.
information has come out now about, you know, black kids being, in a private school
Mm.
environment. And even though I was not that lone black kid, and it's just something that I'm working on, as far as mental health and therapy for. But for the longest time, I had issues with how I dealt with Black people, like
Mm.
most Black nerds have dealt with, that I found out later. It's like, we get made fun of because of our love for anime and all this other stuff. So I honestly don't know exactly what made me a target other than I know I wasn't the unfortunate thing is I wasn't the I know I didn't fit the stereotype. That was for damn sure. I don't know why, like, the trauma that I dealt with was, I was the kid that for some reason never stopped asking questions.
Mm.
Because I'm not a Christian. I do practice Buddhism,
Yeah.
and I just had so many questions when it came to Bible class because they encouraged us to read the Bible when we were kids in that
Yeah.
school. And
Yeah.
as I got older and I kept rereading it, I was like, what? Wait a minute. What? And I'm constantly asking questions. And it's a
Yeah.
private school. It's not like a public school where someone's constantly interrupting you. It's not a rowdy class or anything. All I got was silence. And so I'm left with making up my own decisions since I'm not getting an answer. And just being in that environment because I know I started in that environment when it came to singing. And I really can't pinpoint why I kept doing it because I know for sure because of the racism from the teachers that are there and the racism from the kids that are learning it from their parents, uh, coinciding with being ousted, like not really being accepted by the Black kids that went there either. Um, I'm surprised I still didn't stop singing after leaving
Mm.
school because
Mm.
I had stage fright because I know they would like me. Hell, I could sing like Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston. They still wouldn't like me. Period. Because they
Yeah.
like that.
Mm.
So I don't know why I continued after.
Mm.
I don't know if there was something in the back of my mind that made me believe that I was talented despite the self esteem and stuff that I needed to work on. But it was I, I think it's just because of those little bits here and there. Like, I know I got paid very early on, like right after high school for singing. So it's those little pieces here and there that pretty much validated it.
Mm.
It's just the self esteem and the confidence wasn't there all the way at the time.
Mm.
Um, and, but I think I started performing in all these other facets
Yeah.
because I was wanting that acceptance for sure.
Mm.
I, I mean, I dealt like actually because I know I mentioned that, and
Yeah.
like Cardi B made me feel comfortable or made it okay for me to say it. But and most people are like, I cannot imagine you doing this. But it's like no. When I was in college, I
Yeah.
did the stripping thing. So it's just I've done like and then I went into singing at the same year professionally after
Hmm.
I won like a karaoke contest, and that was College Station at A&M. If anybody knows about the country places in Texas,
Yeah.
not much has changed there, you know. But once again, even though it was not the best environment,
Hmm.
I still kept doing it.
Yeah.
I know a part of that, me doing all this different stuff was because I wanted acceptance. I wanted some type of validation. And the thing is, I honestly, even after all these years, the reason why I do it from time to time is that I just didn't get it.
Mm.
It was where I live, it's very clicky,
Mm.
fortunately.
Mm.
It's very clicky. And like I said, my personality is not to feed somebody's ego or kiss their butt.
Hmm.
And since I don't do that, I'm looked at a certain way. When I sing in a foreign language, oh yeah, I know I definitely seen as weird, or
Yeah.
but my mentors hit me to something that made a lot of sense for me. The average reading level in America is fifth grade, seventh grade at best.
Mm. Wow.
So now that made so much sense for me because I don't know what a fifth grade reading level is. I was at fifth grade, I was well past that. So, and I was taught to use the words that I learned when it comes to reading in my vocabulary. So the way that I talk and the way that I carry myself comes off as educated. And for people that are not on that level, I'm sure they assume that I think I'm better than them. So if I step into a stage, even though I'm in a city that is internationally diverse, it's still a southern city. So I think a lot of people forget that, and it's very segregated. And so, you've got people and audiences that just don't get it because this
Mm.
isn't New York. This isn't, with people from different countries and races and ethnicities that are living on top of each other. No, I mean, in the South, unfortunately, it's still very segregated. And so when you have this Black girl that's speaking, like singing, forget the speaking part, but just singing in these foreign languages, especially when it's not something that you understand, is definitely seen as, oh, you think you're better than us, that type of deal. And because singing is the main one where I have been singing professionally and just performing overall for over 20 years. When I started going into the queer community, it wasn't just drag that I did. It was burlesque that I did because it's like around COVID, those two forms of art have always been within the vicinity, but they got closer together when COVID happened. So you have a lot of burlesque shows that are happening in LGBTQ plus friendly venues. Um, I've only done professional acting, stage acting here and there. Um, if it had gone a little bit differently between me and my spouse at the time, I mean, I kind of think even if he hadn't relapsed, I think
Yeah.
I probably still would have been divorced just because we both had our own issues with insecurities and confidence and stuff like that. He is not from this country. He's an immigrant himself. And so that left him with a lot of trauma.
Mm.
And so I don't think we would have stayed together. But, had we did, I still would have definitely pushed it because um, this is still the most viewed video on our channel on YouTube because the band we were in was called Otaku Acoustic.
Hmm.
So we would do at that time we did acoustic um, covers of a lot of anime songs. He played the guitar while I sang, and in
Hmm.
that video, it was the opening to Gurren Lagann.
Mm. Okay.
And so that video got noticed by a Japanese channel. And so, and once again, this was before COVID. So they reached out to me. I kind of thought, of course, since there was limited information on
Yeah.
what I could see, I thought it was a scam. It was like, so I had to really do some digging to try to find this to see if this was a legit show, and which it was. And at the time, we did have a full band, and I was trying to see if they could bring all of us over here because the band was not my idea. The band was actually my husband's idea. So it's like, okay, well, can he come along at least? But they just wanted me, and
Mm.
it was pretty much an American Idol version, just with many different people from many different countries and stuff. It's called
Mhm.
the No Dojiman.
Mm.
So we sing like their pop culture songs and stuff like that. And um, that's when we started really, I guess, getting street cred. We started get once I came back, I could put that, even though it was just me, I could put that
Yeah.
on a resume saying like, hey, Japanese people, actually legit thought I was good enough to fly me over there for free and stuff
Yeah.
like that, to go sing for them and stuff like that. Um, so at least the band was professional, like near the end, as far as us getting paid in some way, shape, or form to perform at these conventions. But once again, there was also that validation. And one thing that I've always attested to when it came to the weight loss and the health and fitness aspect of it, because I started losing weight soon after that, um, is that I still didn't have confidence and high self-esteem when I lost the weight. I think some
Mm,
people think that that transformation automatically happens and comes together, and I'm like, I'm gonna say it. No, it doesn't always happen like that. I may have lost the weight, but I still had a lot of issues with my sense of self-worth.
mhm.
And I know that's outside my scope of practice, but I still do very much push for, if people have access to it and they can afford it, to
Mhm.
not only just focus on their physical health and fitness, but to also definitely work on, the mental part.
No,
Well,
yeah, that's definitely true. And also, I wanted to ask because you used to do and you want to continue the fit tip clips. So that's
mhm,
like a lot of like it was nutrition, it was fitness, it was even wellness a little bit because you talked about like handling stress and
mhm.
being the main character and like even recipes. So what inspired fit tip clip? And
A client, when I was still training in person, the first gym that I worked at, she was, I know she sold Avon products. And she talked about how she got a good portion of her audience, or a following, because she was doing Facebook Lives. And so she's like, just like pick a time and a day and like just
yeah,
live. And I'm like, okay. And I just started doing that, like just the once a week, Sunday evenings on Facebook. And, it wasn't until I got with my mentors that I had to find out that I have to be the one that initiates conversations with people, and, not the other way around, because
yeah.
it's not until I get around, like when I was getting ready to perform, or if I was going like to a convention, or if I was going, they're like, oh yeah, I've seen your fit tip clips. And I'm like, now you tell me. I've been wanting people to interact and comment and say stuff, and it's like, why do I have to say something rage baity for y'all to start saying something?
Hmm.
I'm like, I've been wanting people to interact, and like the only feedback I got was, at the time I lived in, a place south of Houston. It was becoming suburbanized, so it was still very rural in mind, and some people are like, and so a lot, and I was posting in a lot of Facebook groups back then too, because you could share the lives. And so I would post the lives to like my neighborhood, group on Facebook. It was a private group. And like the feedback I got, and I still honestly don't get it, because that was never the intention. But it's like, they felt so bad after the fit tip clip. And I'm like, why are you feeling
Oh no.
fit tip clip? I'm like, that's not the point of it. And I'm like, if you're feeling bad, or devastated anyway, that's not the point of my lives. It's to help. I'm like, because the thing is, I'm like, I know for a fact I was never passing judgment on anybody. It's like, I mean, like, it's just, you just need to make a decision. I mean, it's, if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it, but if you do want to do it, you have to understand, you do have to do what you may think is sacrificing. You're going to have to get uncomfortable. You're you're going to have to get up and do it, when you don't want to. You have to go in the kitchen and cook and do this. And I'm like, and I think the only way I possibly have made people feel bad is because I guess it came across as perfect. And once again, I wasn't really, I wasn't even really portraying that, because I was always vocal about talking about, like the part where, me and my spouse at the time were going through it. Like, so life was happening for me. And I always like to use that as a prime example. Like, it was right before the holiday season that I got laid off.
Yeah.
I was halfway through preparing for my bodybuilding competition. Because of my husband's immigration status at the time, he was able to work, but he decided to go from an independent contractor, where he's getting all of his paycheck, to being an employee at a big company.
Mm.
And so he's getting stuff taken out. He's also at the beginning stages. He wasn't at a higher level yet. So he was not making the money. So I'm the breadwinner. Um, and so at this time, unfortunately, he had relapsed. So, I got laid off. but I'm the breadwinner, and so I got to now figure out how to keep that going. But also, my spouse is driving me crazy because he's on that stuff, and I also have a child from a previous relationship that I've got to take care of as well, and it could have been very easy for me to say, forget it. I done lost my job. I'm not going to do this bodybuilding thing because bodybuilding is not something that's mandatory. And so I could have just easily walked away from it, and I didn't because my way of thinking was, well, I've been paid for 50% of this stuff. I'm like, no, I might as well keep going. And so, I was going through it. Life was lifing. And so I still stuck with it. Um, I did, I don't know. I still think of it as a good decision to make. Me and my ex separated, which was a lot less stress. I could focus on, just dealing with being a single parent again, just with bigger bills, and just focusing on trying to get that straight. Luckily, like I said, I was able to work at a gym, which honestly, as long as I pushed and marketed myself and presented myself, I kind of made about the same amount that I did as a paralegal.
Mm.
So, I was able to maintain for a minute. So, and then I did my first competition a few months later, and I won. But I chose not to walk away. It's very easy to let something like that derail, so many things like that to derail you,
Mm.
and it didn't.
Oh yeah, I definitely understand that, but I'm happy that like you persevered and you didn't let it get you down. Basically, what you practice, what you preach when it comes to the main character energy. You just
Yeah,
level up to the next level.
right.
And definitely I wanted to ask, I also love that not only like when you're sharing the content, especially because you have clients and people that want to get interested in your fitness programs, and just for people to be healthy in general, you do a lot of like fun content just to remind people to like, like drink, like I've seen like the Mario ones that you did and like some of the cosplay ones where you tell people like, drink water and take accountability and like, the hidden calories. And then you also post a lot of different recipes, like either as high protein or as low calorie. And I have a two-parter. What inspired you to do the content where you like basically give people accountability you did in cosplay? What was the inspiration for that? And then the second part is what like because I know people that make recipes, especially low calorie recipes, I feel like it's trial and error. Like maybe you've done it for yourself. Like how are you able to like come up with these recipes? Some of them I want to try, to be honest, because I don't eat sweets, but like I like to have something that I can eat that's healthy.
So I like sweets. So I have a sweet tooth. So that's why I like to put up stuff that's sweet, but you don't. I guess because I always try to think of it in or I try to get people's perspective because its perspective is everything. Because I approach things differently than what most people do. So I always try to understand the way they see things. Like most people I run into, not everybody, they're
Yeah.
into sweets like me. Because like, look, I tell people like, look, the reason why I had a big back is because if you bring a whole apple pie into the house, I will eat the thing within a day or two. But like the whole pie. Okay. I am that bad, or I can be that bad with sweets. And so,
Yeah.
like, I know, once again, not everybody. The best thing that I did for myself is if I'm craving sweets or I'm eating sweets, is because I'm not drinking enough water or I haven't had enough protein yet. It's either one of those two things. Um, if I do, no matter what, regardless of how much water or protein I have, I just want to have something sweet. Well, then, you know, I might actually have Oreos here and there. Or I might just have like what is it, like the peanut butter and jelly smoothie,
Hmm.
just something that'll, like, I guess, take that edge off. Now, one thing that I will say, the only reason why I say it's a mess up is because I didn't post the reel, because I do have a private group. It's not as active. I need to like kind of get more people engaged and activated again. I'm also moving it from Facebook to Discord because I don't like how some of the Facebook groups are. working right now, or there's
Mhm.
changes that they've made.
Okay.
So, but I remember asking one of these questions, like, what are some, I guess, guilty pleasures, maybe fast foods that you would like to see healthy versions of? A lot of them said Thai food. I'm never going
Oh.
to.
Oh.
I can't. I cannot do it. Like my thing is,
Yeah.
I mean, and I used to be able to do it when I had a lot of time, but also
Yeah.
at the same time, I was not on a health and fitness journey, or I was not in that
Mm.
mindset.
Okay.
I used to make stuff like risotto
Hmm.
and stuff like that. But if anybody is familiar with the kitchen, risotto is one of those rice that takes a long
It
time.
takes some time, yeah.
Yeah, and I would definitely try Thai food, but my issue is I tried to make a high protein version from an Instagram one so I could do a spin on it.
Mm.
The first mistake, and I should have already known to where I should have been like it's a no go, is there were one or two ingredients that I could not find anywhere. And I mean
Oh.
anywhere, which is
Yeah.
crazy because I live in Houston and I live in a part of Houston that's actually close to A-Leaf. So, and if anybody is familiar with that area, that's where pretty much if you're a new immigrant, you go to live in A-Leaf. So
Mm.
they've got a lot of that's where the Chinatown is. So you've got a lot of these Asian markets and stuff like that. But it's just for me, I'm I'm always about convenience, and I'm also thinking about that for my clients as well, or not just my clients, but for people that are thinking about training with me.
Mhm.
We're not so quick to do things when it inconveniences us, especially in this country. We're built off of convenience, and so one thing that I should have stopped myself at was too many ingredients. There were way too many ingredients. And the second thing that should have stopped me was the fact that I was not able to find a certain paste or a certain sauce at a place like Kroger, at a place
Mm.
like Walmart neighborhood market, at a place that most people go to, because some people may not have access to an Asian market
Mm.
and they're asking for an ingredient that I cannot find anywhere.
Wow.
And it had way too many steps, at least at this time, to my liking. So this Thai noodle dish, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not making Thai dishes, because some of this is a little bit too intricate. Like, I love Japanese food, but I'm not going to make Japanese dishes anytime soon. I see why they are big fans of cooking, French cuisine, because it's very technical. They're technical dishes, but I'm just like, my more up my alley is making it simple, high protein, and I know it's getting overdone and I know it's getting old. I am starting to look into more ones that have more fiber
Hmm.
as well. But it's just like, I like to keep it short, simple, and sweet. I'm like, we're not trying to be in Hell's Kitchen. They're doing a chef over. I like to keep it simple and quick, because I want to get around all those excuses that I hear. People
Mm.
don't have time. I have learned from the group that I have, it's like, some of them are, I'm like, a lot of them are intimidated by the kitchen.
Mm.
A lot of them are, intimidated by the grocery store.
Mm.
Once again, my upbringing was, it was just different. Like when I run free challenges, because I'll do free challenges every once in a while, you know, what I recommend that they eat is vastly different from what they're eating. And I'm just like, really? So I'm like, this is very good information because, it's kind of weird because, once again, the upbringing is just different.
Mm.
Now, I grew up with my mom, and my father. We're going to the grocery store every weekend. My mom's got her list. We go get the stuff, and then we go. And I grew up with my mom cooking in the kitchen and stuff like that. When I was growing up, I remember being jealous of these kids that were, because I went to Montessori school before a private school. And so I got to see all these kids that were eating McDonald's breakfast because there was one with walking distance of that school. And I was so jealous. I'm like, man, why can't mom just stop at the McDonald's so we can get breakfast? I'm just like, I see all these kids eating it. I mean, especially like if anybody's ever seen Eddie Murphy's Raw, you see how like
Yes.
it's like we got McDonald's and stuff like that. I'm like, I had the same experience because it's like I want what the kids got because it was McDonald's. It was cool back then. So I find, of course, McDonald's has never really had breakfast 24/7.
Hmm.
And so I remember years later,
Yeah.
finally got a hold of being able to get a McDonald's breakfast. I was so disappointed. I was, I was mad because the pancakes weren't sweet on their own. I needed syrup from those for those suckers. Okay, they were terrible and rubbery, and I'm just like, okay, the pancakes I've had at home didn't taste like that. They were so much better. The eggs were nasty, like they needed salt and pepper, and also they didn't have cheese on it, so I had to, try. I'm like, man, I'm like, okay, I like cheese, and I think the only thing that I really enjoyed out of it was the hash brown. That was
Mm.
and I mean, I was just so disappointed. And I'm like, why are kids eating? Why were they eating this? And, someone had to be like, that's how they grew up.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up that way.
Mm.
That's how they grew up. That's what they know. So going to the grocery store and doing what I experienced, going to the store with my list to make sure I get this, and then get out, that's not what they see. They're overwhelmed because it's like, wait, should I get this? Should I get that? Is this what's good for me? Is this good to get? So, and I still see it to this day. I think there's only one person I've seen. Everybody else, I automatically out of habit, if I get something that's in a box or something like that, I'm turning that over and
Yeah.
automatically have the nutrition facts. Ain't nobody doing that.
Not nowadays, unless, like you said, if you're used to it. Because my parents were the same way. We go to the grocery store, we pick up the items. Our version of eating out back then is like,
Once a
well,
week.
like once a week.
Okay.
Even like now, I'm trying to like I try to do once a week. I eat whatever leftovers is in the house, and then I go out, as like a date night type thing. But I try not to eat more than once a week. But it's because of my parents. Basically they cook for leftovers, which I do sometimes because it's
Mm-hmm.
just easier when you're working. And then our
Right.
version of like eating out is like you go to the grocery store, you get like the pre-made like
Okay.
rotisserie chicken, you know what I mean? And
Okay.
then you use whatever you have, outside of like the occasions we did go out to eat like that. Like that was our version, like going to the store, like okay, we didn't feel like fully cooking, so you went to the store, got a rotisserie chicken, or like
Okay.
chicken wings from ShopRite, and then do what you had to do. So I
Yeah.
get what you're saying. It's upbringing.
Yeah. On Friday, that was the day we would go get fast food. That
Yeah.
was the treat. And of course, as a kid, I don't know what I was thinking because there still was no breakfast there. But whenever Friday rolled around, hey, Melanie, what did you want to get? McDonald's. There you go.
That's that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask, what are some of the goals that you have, for everything that you're doing right now?
Um, so last year I was training for a sprint triathlon. Um, I didn't want to do a full Ironman or anything like that. But it was mainly because I still did in-person training at the Y that I live near, and they
Yeah.
have a pool, of course. But un, unless I don't know too many people that actually just work out at the Y because obviously things are vastly different.
Yeah.
So last year, the YMCA was defunded,
Mm.
and a lot of people are not aware that the YMCA, being a nonprofit organization, a lot of their funding comes from the federal government. So that led to a lot of changes. And when I stepped away and stopped working at the Y, I lost my access to the YMCA because it's
Mm.
not like other gyms where if you like for people that don't know, if you work at a gym, not only did you get free not only do you get free access,
Mm.
but if you stop working there, you're still able to come in for free to work out.
Oh, okay.
So it threw me off when I was attempting to go into the app to look at something. I'm like, why is it saying I don't have like access or there's an error code? And my kid still works as a swim director, not director,
Oh.
she works as a swim instructor at that same Y.
Mhm.
And I asked, I'm like, um, do I just no longer have access to the Y since I'm no longer working here? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, so I'm like, I'm like, I don't really have access to a pool. So I've had to switch gears. Not that I didn't mind because I was kind of going back and forth anyway. So now I'm not intending to compete, but I do want to go back to as close as I can to the lean physique that I had when I was bodybuilding because I enjoyed the physique. The thing is, I didn't know a lot about the nutrition then. And once I got the degree and stuff like that in nutrition, now that I know the nutrition, I know it's sustainable
Mhm.
because that's another side that a lot of people don't really see unless they decide that they want to dig a little deep. And for those people that are really into certain looks for cosplay competitions and stuff like that, and if they're really hell bent on looking a certain way, and I'm like, I haven't trained anybody of that league yet. Have nothing against it. It just doesn't come up a whole lot. But like bodybuilding, if they ever want to go through that territory, I usually make them aware that you are going to be honestly eating less than 1,000 calories a day. You will get to that point where it's just not sustainable. No one should be an adult eating less than 1,000 calories a day. But if you're trying to get a lean physique and look a certain type of way, and when it's for a show or a competition,
Mhm.
as lean.
Oh, your mic. I think your
Did I,
mic got cut off for a second. I think you're good.
okay, where did it cut off at?
I think you're. I think it cut off for like a good 30 seconds. So whatever you said, 30 seconds.
Okay. Um, So I think I let me go back to the people that want to cosplay
Yeah.
specifically for the looks and stuff. So it's in the same vein as bodybuilding. I haven't coached or trained anybody yet for something that's specifically for looks, which is okay, by the way.
Mhm.
But if you're looking for something that's in the similar vein as that, they have to understand that when like we're getting 1 or 2 weeks out from the competition, you're going to be looking at eating less than 1,000 calories or eating something that's well below what you should be eating. I'm not going to say safely,
Mhm.
but it's extreme, and that's what athletes do. Athletes are a small part of the population for a reason because they put their body through very extreme things on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So you will be putting yourself through something extreme, which is extreme restriction when it comes to food.
Mhm.
Um, but like as for me, I know I'm not going to get as lean as um, or not looking to. Your body can surprise you,
Yeah.
but I'm not looking to get like in competing weight, but look like if I wanted to do it, all I would need is a few weeks because I do know I do have the capacity, I have the genetics for it. Um, oh, you kind of cut it. You're like
Uh,
it went dark and then it came back on.
I don't know why. I don't know why it did that. I apologize. That was so strange. But I'm glad that like we're back. We're back and going. But as you were saying,
Yeah, no, but it's just I want to go back to that lean look, or where I can come close to. Hey, if I wanted to jump into a competition, well, let me just go ahead and do it, just because I have those type of genetics. And I'm finding out a lot of people like really don't. So
oh, okay.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. But well, you have the knowledge now. You know the maintenance. So that's definitely going to be a thing. And I'm looking forward to everything that you have going on next. To be honest. And one of the last questions I was gonna ask is I usually ask a question about like support in our community, like in the Blur community, and I ask,
Hmm.
what have we done well so far that you've seen like to support each other, uplift each other when we can, and what are things that we can work on? Because we're not perfect. Everybody has a different experience, so they have a different answer to the question.
I think we've done a good job in just telling our story and our experience.
Mm,
I think that's something that um, I have seen in a lot of the, because I do stay in a lot of the blur groups on Facebook. Uh, we tend to be very open and honest, and I mean, I hate to say this, but I see why we have blurred groups because I'm in some of the nerd groups and I see why we still have to have blurred groups.
mm,
Um, so it is nice to have certain conversations without having some crazy uh, right wing person saying something off putting and, and stuff like that. It's just being open about our journeys, and it's that shared journey, that shared struggle.
mm,
Um, One thing that I think we still need to definitely work on is unity and holding each other accountable. Um, that it's still unity, and like I said, the unfortunate part is for me is I'm I'm still working on feeling comfortable around a bunch of my people can consider my background, and it's not like it wouldn't happen
mhm,
because thankfully, even though my kid is biracial
mm,
and can pass for pass herself, she definitely gets more support or has had the opposite of support that I lacked when I was growing up from Black people or Black nerds. She's had more support from Black nerds versus my experience. So it's not like I don't know that it doesn't happen. It's not like I haven't known people that, have been vocal and vocal advocates and supporters and actually walk the walk.
mm,
You know, um, it's just something that I need to reconcile myself and just get more and more comfortable with.
mm,
But it's definitely um, we still need to work on like yeah we get the unity with the shared struggle, but we need to get the unity when it comes to especially like health and fitness because I still see
mm,
you know um, I still see the whole and this is a mixed bag. It's
mhm.
kind of a gray area. I still see where it's like we're praising the big back that type of deal. Like we're still
Yeah.
adhering to this and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, it's not healthy. I if people see my before and after photos, it's not as vast as my clients or it's not as dramatic as some other weight loss photos because more people have had more weight to lose. But one thing that stuck out to me is that I've had a lot of black and brown feedback saying, you didn't look that fat. And I'm like, it doesn't really matter.
Mm,
My body said that I needed to lose this weight.
yeah.
So it's really what is best for your body and what your body needs. That's what my body was telling me is that, hey, you need to lose 75, 80 pounds.
Yeah.
So, regardless of what I looked like, it, and I'm only 5 feet tall, I'm fun size. So the weight can only go so far. So it's
Yeah.
like, I'm like women, like, especially, black female blurs
Yeah.
to um, try to go in that direction. I've
Yeah.
gone as a trainer. One thing that I didn't know how to respond to because I was a green trainer
Yeah.
is I'm training a lot of black women, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm losing weight, but I didn't want to lose my curves." And I'm like,
You're not going to. That's a whole conversation.
I mean, everybody's body is different. Like for
Yeah.
me, and here's the thing, I didn't care.
Yeah.
Like so when I lost the weight,
Mm,
I lost my boobs, I lost my butt, and I'm like, oh, I mean, it just didn't bother me.
yeah.
Um, I know it would bother a lot of other women, but
Mm,
when I started bodybuilding, I started adding muscle. And
Yeah.
so my shape, like maybe not the breast, but the shape started to come back. I started
Mhm.
to build broader shoulders, my waist got smaller, and my glutes, my butt built back up and stuff like that. So I added on muscle, so the figure came back. It just looks different.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot that goes into that, and like I understand, and you have a point when it comes to like the health fitness side of the community for those that do it. I don't see a lot of collaboration yet when it comes to that, and part of that I think because like you said, a lot of the things within the Black community, even that we when it comes to health and what your body should look like as a Black woman, and there's a bunch of things, and even like when Black women decide to lose weight. And for me personally, depending on your body type too, some keep their curves, but it's just
Mhm.
not what they expected. And then they have either their male counterparts because they have a preference, and then that probably put into their brains that they must not lose it because they don't want to be under. It's a whole thing. It's a whole
Yeah.
thing, and it's crazy. But no, yeah,
Hmm.
I'm hoping that that becomes more collaborative over time because the people that I see that are doing it, including you, it would be great for you guys to collab. It would be great for you guys to just teach people that it's okay to, you know, be healthy. Even if you're not trying to, unbig your back dramatically, like just
Right.
to be healthy. But yeah, thank you for sharing that input because that is important. That's something just like with mental health. I feel like it's the mental health and the actual health.
Yeah.
We still have to talk about it more in our community because we sometimes neglect it a little bit. I feel like it's a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So I appreciate everything you're doing, and I was so glad to have you, to talk about everything you're doing. Hopefully, you had a good time.
Yeah. It was awesome. I loved it.
Thank you. And I just want to give you the time now to plug in where you want people to follow you, just in case they watch it back and everything. And if they want to be part of your program, what they can do and everything like that.
Okay. So, yeah. Of course, it's Geisha Fitness. I'm your number one friendly neighborhood trainer and nutritionist for 30 plus cosplayers. I help you guys level up from being an NPC to that main character status in your health and your fitness. And you can follow me on is the three main ones that you can follow me on. I am on YouTube to a lesser extent, but mainly Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. If you are interested and want to check out, see more, get more information on my programs, then what you can do is you can comment or you can DM me cosplay. And what I'll do is I'll reach out to you to see if I can help.
It's awesome. And thank you guys that came in and out, will watch back. I really do appreciate you guys. And for those that may not know what I do, hi, my name is Lizzie. My brand started off as my art brand, which I still do. But as you can see, it's an intersection of things with the brand because we do multiple things. But I traditionally draw, I digitally edit to create my own style. I have my merch store on Redbubble, but we push Shopify, Japanese inspired. So there's always a little bit of like that anime s to the drawings, whether it's original, whether it's like you ask for commissions, or I make anime related merch. That's kind of the vibe of the art. So if you want to do commission, shout out to people that have come to me for commissions recently. Definitely, if you go to AnimeInkArt 1, the main page, and you click the link in the bio, the link tree has all of that. It has the forum if you want to be an Anime Ink Art Live Talks, which was one of the newer things. We started since 2021. This it was since 2023 in September because we always had a side mission statement with the brand where we would always support as many blurred creators as possible because to be honest, when I found out when I was doing my stuff, I was so happy. The amount of people I've been able to network with, and I don't think I would be visible in any sense without the people that I've met along the way in the community. So I want to be able to share them and promote them and stuff as well. So that's how Anime Inc. or Live Talks show came to be. But I used to do like Black brand spotlights, like just because, like not even just on Black History Month. It started out on Black History Month when I first started, but I kind of
Okay.
just kept doing it. I kind of just kept sharing people in my stories and stuff like that. But this became a thing where I was trying to get out of my comfort zone, try to get more into interacting with people, and I felt like we needed genuine conversation. So that's how this happened. If you want to be part of the show, the link tree has the link for the interview, if you want to choose a date or time, is on a calendar basis. And we also cosplay when we get the chance. Shout out to Ataka Noir. We are affiliates with them. I hope that you did pre-order the Sirens box because they make quarterly mystery boxes for the Blurred community. So they put a lot of fun goodies in there. So, whether you like books or comics or different indie authors or the artists in general, they make whole worlds for their boxes sometimes. And the Sirens box is going to be shipping out to you sometime this June. So definitely you'll get art from black women creators, and is centered around like celebrating R&B History Month as well as mermaids, the sirens, and off of Mami Wata, which is an African deity. So it's gonna be fun. Definitely, if you pre-order it, use code AnimeInkArt. You should get free shipping off of your order. And we also volunteer with Critical Care Comics, their organization, and they have 3 chapters: Vegas, New York, which I'm a part of, and South Carolina. So we go to different hospitals, and when it allows, like different events to promote the organization. But at our hospital visits, we have heroes. They dress up as Marvel and DC characters. We have regular people that you don't have to cosplay. I do that because I help with supplies as well, so it's just easier. We give toys and comics to the children in the hospital to put a smile on their face and get to see them dressed up. It makes their day. Plus, they get something out of it for free. So definitely, if you want to be a part, we just went to Forest Hills Comic Con for New York. We're trying to expand. We always will be welcome to have more people so we can do more things in the New York chapter. And even in general, if you're in Vegas and South Carolina, you want to join their chapters as well, definitely go to www.criticalcarecomics.com. Sign up. Whether you want to volunteer, whether you want to donate, because they do have a cancer fund that all the funds go towards that. If you want to donate and you want to do the visits, or if you have some talent in terms of marketing or recruiting or any other things, you can definitely sign up for that. And it's definitely a great cause. And anything you want to know, follow Anime Income One, join the broadcast channel. We do a lot of things here, and there's more surprises to come that I can share once things are actually approved, and I could say. So definitely, we'll be back for another show on Sunday with From A to Z podcast. And with that, see you guys later, guys. Bye.
Bye.